bit of driving and talk about what the Corvette ZR1 is like. Obviously, it's an unhinged maniac. Like, unbelievable. The way this thing is able to put down 1,000 horsepower is unlike anything else I've driven around this power level. Obviously, it's got boost by gear, so like the faster you go, the faster it's accelerating. First gear is pretty good, you know it's fighting for traction. Second gear is getting going, and then third gear, you're like, what in the world? Why are we accelerating harder than we were in the previous 2 gears? And that's what cars like this. We have entered a segment, a space of the automotive supercar world filled with things like a Porsche GT2 RS, Ferrari Pista, McLaren 750S, 765LT, GT Black Series. We're in the top echelon of supercars, and the ZR1 can hang with them and embarrass, honestly, most of them. And beyond just the pure speed, it's the livability that I'm so impressed with. So right now we're in track mode, PTM dry, you know, plan on a launch control, but unfortunately there's a bit of traffic in front of us. So let's toggle back into, actually we gotta exit PTM, oops, my bad. Traction control back on, and then we toggle into tour mode. Everything calms down. Back in automatic, I could be in a Stingray, a base Z06. Mag ride is softened, it's comfortable. They actually tune the regular ZR1 to be a bit more livable than the Z06. The Z06 is supposed to be a little more hardcore track focused, so even the base level is going to be more aggressive, but the ZR1 is meant to have a wider envelope. It's an interesting personality shift between the two of them, because Z06 naturally aspirated hard-edged hardcore, this turbocharged ridiculous horsepower, but this doesn't have a front trunk anymore. So like if you want this to be the more livable, usable, daily drivable Super Corvette, well, it's just less practical because you only have the trunk in the back. So that is a little bit of a downside. But the cool thing about the hardtop convertible is we have that little rear window back there that you can put down so you can hear the V8 a little bit better even with the top up. So you still have an isolated cabin. Oh, it's got punchy shifts. The dual clutch has been strengthened, a bit more tough to handle that extra power and torque, and it still makes such a good noise. It's the Z06 sound and an added layer of boost. Now, I did a full formal review where I get a bit more in-depth with technical things and how it feels. Figured we'd do a POV drive since we've got a ZR1. Curvy, beautiful, scenic roads. Make some noises, enjoy some horsepower. Oh, listen to that. I got it to pop a couple times earlier. Right there. That's a beautiful view too. It's violent in the way it accelerates, but it doesn't scare you. It's just exhilaration. And I gotta say, modern day traction control systems, stability control systems, the way they manage power is pretty remarkable for them to achieve something like this. Hello, Z06. Oh look, a De Tomaso P72. Wow. The Roswell Green ZR1. Holy crap, and a 675 LT. That is a gorgeous car. Oh my gosh. The sound of air behind me. Oh my goodness. I love this car so much already. It's addicting. Power is addicting. Forget drugs. Forget other illegal substances. Power. Horsepower. Every single number and spec associated with the ZR1 is just jaw-dropping. I still remember the moment I was told how much power the ZR1 is going to make. Taj was like, take a guess, before we found out. And I was like, I mean, probably 850, no more than 900. And they're like 1,064. And I just look like a gaping buffoon with my mouth hanging open because I was like, what? You guys put 1,064 horsepower? There was those rumors of a Zora, like a range-topping version. I was like, all right, whatever ZR1 engine, maybe making 850 horsepower plus 150 horsepower from a front motor, we're gonna have 1,000 horsepower in the top Zora. That ended up becoming the ZR1X, which is 1,250 horsepower, and with 1,064, this is still just such a massive jump. Like, I remember rationalizing to myself, like, McLaren does the 720S and then the 765 LT. They had the 650S, the 675 LT. They didn't do the 720S and then the 1000 LT because that's essentially the equivalent of what Corvette has done. Z06 is 670 horsepower, most powerful production naturally aspirated V8, and then they went and made this thing 1,064 horsepower, which is just a massive jump. I can't think of another model that has that big of a delta between base car power and top tier. Let's think about it, right? 1,250 for the ZR1X, even 1,064 here versus 495 for the Stingray, right? Like a Porsche 911, yeah, GT2 RS is close to 700, but a base car is, still 400. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what they've been able to do. And what I love is that it's just comfortable. Now, my wife Angel might not agree. She's... How are you handling the G-force?
No comment.
No comment?
No comment.
This is, well, to be fair, this is your first time in any sort of car on these kinds of roads. And oh boy, is a ZR1 a good way to jump in. Here's the good thing, babe. Any other car after this is going to feel slow. You're going to be like, is this car broken? I'm like, no, honey, it's just a McLaren 720S. It just doesn't have as much power.
I think that's a good thing for me. I'm a lady of luxury, and I'm doing everything in my power to keep it all down, to keep my lunch down. So I think it's a good thing for me.
I appreciate you riding along with me. So you're more like, you would like an Escalade.
Yes, likely.
An Escalade or
S-Class.
a Rolls Royce, an S-Class.
Yeah.
The Cadillac Celestiq could be more your speed.
Exactly.
That'd be a good two-car solution. The ZR1 and a Celestiq. That's the GM two-car solution.
Like, I'm not mad. I haven't really been in your Z06 that frequently.
Yeah.
Not mad about it.
What I just love is how approachable this thing is. I got in and immediately was comfortable. Now, caveat the fact that, yes, I've spent a lot of time in C8s and in my Z06, so definitely very familiar and comfortable with this platform. But we started over in Monterey, and we went down to Big Sur along Highway 1 here. When we were further south, there was way less traffic, so I got to really open this thing up a bit. Now we're stuck in some traffic, but going through these sweepers, we are on pretty nice tarmac, but just good to go. Good to go, and the level of power and speed you can achieve is just mind-blowing. You look down, you're like, oh, that's a very quick speed. I didn't realize I had already reached that speed. And I didn't turn traction fully off. We're on the street, not my car, 1,000 horsepower, respect it, obviously. But I did put PTM into dry, and I launched it several times, and you can feel it holding back, fighting for traction, first gear, second gear. Spun the tires a little bit, but it was nothing ridiculous. I didn't go like sideways at any point. Whereas in other cars at this level, we're talking the McLaren 765 LT comes to mind, the Pista, like, they're a handful. They can be scary, like genuinely slightly terrifying. The McLaren P1, one of my dream cars, all-time favorite cars, honestly, it was a bit terrifying driving it because, one, I know how rare and expensive it is. Like, something bad happens, that's my entire life savings. My next 2 generations are in debt forever. And also, it just, at any moment, you just get that feeling like it might just bite your head off. It might kill you. Like, the rear end just could step out, right? And it's just, it's unhinged. And there can be a fun factor to that. There's a time and a moment for a car that's gonna just terrify the ever-loving crap out of you. But at the same time, having 1,000 horsepower and being able to just use it and feel like you're on a rocket to the moon is also really, really fun. Like, really, really cool. What is going on here? Why is there traffic?
Is it an accident?
I don't know. Hopefully not. Maybe.
It is.
Uh-oh.
It is, yeah.
It's a Huracan, a 3RS. No, maybe they're just stopping for whatever reason. That wasn't a one-way on the bridge.
Wait, yeah, it was two-way.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen to that burble pop. I think it's slightly lower RPM. So between 2 to 3. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with the cooling too. Temps have stayed shockingly low this entire time. And it's not crazy hot out because we're by the ocean, right? But like, I was not going easy on this thing, and it stayed very, very cool. So we have 15 heat exchangers. It's very, very much robustly set up to handle the power. They didn't just throw turbos on the LT6 and be like, have fun, makes power, good luck, it might blow up. No, this thing has been completely engineered to handle this level of power and performance. Hearing the engineers nerd out about everything they did is really cool. They want to make it very clear that, again, this is not an LT6 with turbo strapped on it. The LT7 was developed, they're the Gemini twins, right? But there's a lot of differences. They're both 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8s, yes, but I mean, this thing has a different manifold. It's got different heads, lower compression ratio because it's boosted. We have the dual fuel injection system, so we got DI and PFI, the port fuel injectors. You need a lot of fuel to generate 1,000 horsepower, very similar to when they went to the LT5 for the ZR1, right? So you have the C7 Z06 LT4, which is DI only, and then the LT5 is DI PFI. Similar kind of idea, right? More fuel and different types of injectors. We have, what else? All the cooling, the transmission has been beefed up to handle all of this power. And then obviously the giant arrow to keep you stuck on the ground, massive carbon ceramic brakes to slow you down. And then there's so much more that they did for the engineering, like just little details here and there. Pistons are different, rods are different. The crankshaft, I believe, is honed slightly differently in the machining and the way everything is strengthened to handle the power, because this thing puts out so much boost. I mean, these 76 millimeter turbos are the largest in any production car, like a mass production car that I can think of right now. And we've got 3 Countachs. Okay, yep, that's car week. You know what? We're gonna keep rolling. Wait, that last one wasn't a Countach. Was that a Chisetta? That might have been actually. Anyways, we're gonna keep rolling because we're just gonna see some cool cars. Probably we've got half an hour back to the hotel. So I'm just gonna keep driving and doing some jibber jabbering about the ZR1, and we'll see if we encounter anything else crazy, because that's what happens when you're at car week. I don't want to give this car back. I want to keep it for the rest of the week. I want to keep it the rest of my life, actually. Alas, I don't have $200-something thousand, and even if I did, I'd have to find a dealer that could sell me one at MSRP. It's possible. It is indeed possible. Difficult, but possible. I was able to order my Z06, now caveat, I did know people at the dealership. I got my Z06 when all of them were going for like 50 to 100K over, brand new, for technically under MSRP. Now, ZR1s are definitely going to be really, really hard to get for under MSRP. Impossible, but even at MSRP, because I think I saw one sell for $400,000. They're easily already asking 100 to about 250 over. Now, I could see 250. This is a $250,000 experience, but more than that, it's like a principle kind of thing. I don't want to. I would take this over a GT3 RS. I can already say that without any doubt or hesitation. I prefer the GT Black Series. Honestly, the GT Black Series is super capable, but I didn't love the steering in that car, and I don't know, it didn't do it for me. I'm partial to the SLS Black Series. Sadly, my wallet is not, because those things have also doubled and tripled in price. But this car, it's my Z06 plus some and then some.
I'm gonna say that from now on. I'm partial to XYZ, but my wallet is not.
My wallet is not. I mean, babe, I would love to buy one of these, but my bank account, our bank account, we just bought a house. Would you be mad if I sold the house and bought a ZR1?
No comment. I would advise against it.
Oh, that was very, very politically correct.
Yes.
I would recommend that it may cause a premature end to aspiration.
I would tell you it is unwise.
Unwise. It's a torque plateau. They pulled up a dynograph, just a chart, and like you hit like 3,000 RPM and you're making 800 pound-feet of torque, and it just keeps going. And that's what you feel, right? That's the unrelenting, endless wall of acceleration and power. It feels like it will just keep going and going. If I had enough space, I would love to do 200 miles an hour in this thing. 80 to 200 to 80 in 24 and a half seconds. I have no idea what another car would run. Like, what would you do in a Koenigsegg Jesko, right? What would a Regera do that time? I don't know what a Chiron would do 80, 200 to 0 in, but this thing can do it in 24 and a half seconds. I would love to see how it stacks up, but that's not like a number. You know, people run 60 to 130s, and I think, yeah, one of the records is 0 to 400 kilometers an hour to the 0, right? They do those kind of testing because it's also acceleration and braking. You got to consider both of them here. But yeah, all the facts and figures associated with this car are just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. If I had to come up with a couple-word phrase to succinctly summarize what the ZR1 is, it's a civilized rocket ship. It produces unending thrust, and it doesn't scare you. I'm genuinely the most surprised at how approachable and usable this thing was. Now, on a track, I would love to experience that and see what this thing is like on the track, but on the curvy back roads, it has been easy to drive and just take your breath away fast. I love it. This thing is absurd. So epic. Hope you guys enjoy this POV drive. Let's go enjoy the rest of Car Week. Thank you, Angel. Love you.
You're very welcome.
And I love the ZR1. Not as much as I love you, obviously.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thanks for watching.